We're ready. All right. Welcome to the Warren Valley Basin Water Master Board regular board meeting agenda for Tuesday, January 14th, 2020 at 4:30 in the afternoon. And we call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I asked Director Statham to lead us, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please join with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Mays,
Here.
Vice President Huff,
Here.
Director Statham,
Here.
and Director Graham and Director Muncy are absent.
And
We have our non-voting members with us. Debbie Wiley with the Joshua Tree Retreat Center, and Cindy Milan with Hawks Landing Golf Club is absent.
thank you. The approval of the agenda, and we're going to remove number 5, the information item on wastewater update. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved by Vice President Huff and seconded by Director Statham. Roll call, please.
Director Statham,
Yes.
President Mays,
Yes.
and Vice President Huff.
Yes.
Number 2 is public comment. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the board on matters within the board's jurisdiction that are not listed on the agenda. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less. State law prohibits the board of directors from discussing or taking action on items not included on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to say anything? No one in the audience wants to say anything. All right, let's go back to number 3, the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are acted upon by one motion unless a board member wishes an item to be acted upon separately, in which case it will be removed from the consent calendar. We have 3A, which is the regular meeting minutes of June 4th, 2019. And so, any motion on
I'll
that?
move the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Statham and seconded by Vice President Huff. Roll call, please.
President Mays,
Yes.
Director Statham,
Yes.
and Vice President Huff.
Yes.
Let's go on to department items and 2018-2019 annual report. Water Master to consider approving the annual report of the Warren Valley Basin Water Master. And presenting that is Mr. Culver, I believe.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So tonight we're gonna, good evening, President Mays and members of the board, and Debbie, thanks for coming. Tonight we're gonna give a summary of the activities that happened in the Warren Basin over, from October to September of this year, or October of last year to September of this year.
Oh,
2019, sorry. My bad. So as I go along with this, if you guys have any questions, please interrupt me and we can hopefully have your answers to your questions. So last year, the water produced within the basin totaled 2,860 acre feet, which it was an increase from last year of 2,622 acre feet. The increase was actually, I put on here the sewer project, which that doesn't help anything, because now that's done, that's going to help us for next year. But our well 24 was down for about 4 months due to a water quality issue. We got that well back up in service now, but instead of this normally 700 acre feet we produced out of that well, we were only able to get 240 acre feet last year from that well. So High Desert Water actually produced a total of 2,787 acre feet, which is 107 acre feet less than last year. So we actually show a decrease in water use for the High Desert Water District. Joshua Tree Retreat Center produced 39 acre feet, which was 28 acre feet less than last year. So they're definitely getting on top of their leaks, and their allotment this year, or their allotment every year is 80 acre feet. They are actually working really good with us. Anything we need from them, they've been really polite and helping us out. So it's been a good relationship with them.
Okay.
Hawks Landing produced 274 acre feet this water year. They produced 37 acre feet less than last year, and they have a 585 acre foot allotment, so just about half of what their allotted they used this year. Ames Basin, we talked about this a little bit, well 24 was down, and so we're only able to get like, it only 240 acre feet, which accounted for a little over 9% of the water that high desert water produced. This slide's a little hard to read, sorry, I'll definitely do better on this one next year. Well 14 was our top producer this year, and it is in the, over by our shop, in one of the east subunits. And what we're trying to do there is, well 11 actually spiked to nitrates that got up to a 10 this year, so we had to turn the well off for a while. It's still off now as we speak, but we're putting in an analyzer there. So we stopped recharging Site 3, which is right above Pioneertown Road, for a while to see if the water quality would get better, and it actually has. It's dropped down to a 7. So once we get that analyzer in there, we'll be able to predict when the nitrates start spiking, and we can stop recharging Site 3. So we're not gonna recharge Site 3 until we get that analyzer in there, so we can actually watch what the water's doing as we recharge it. So it's kind of a, we're trying to, you know, be proactive with that, keep the nitrate level down to a minimum there. State Water Project, we imported 2,167 acre feet, which adjusted by 2% water loss factors, it comes up to 2125 acre feet. All wells in the high desert water show an elevation rise of 1 to 12 feet last year, even with a decrease in water levels. And this is due to more rainfall and percolation factors. I talked to USGS, and their studies show, depending on what area we're in, a 1.2 to 17-year percolation rate, that's how long it takes to get down to the aquifer. So we're thinking that the water we recharged last year is helping this year still. And they said that rate will slow down as sediment starts clogging the sites, but we really haven't seen, as we recharge, it's still taking the same amount of water without any issues. So we haven't had any clogging issues yet out there. Water quality, nitrate levels stayed constant in most wells except for well 11. It's been creeping up every year, and that's the well, I don't know if you remember, we pulled and we had some test pumping done on that just to try to find different levels where maybe the water quality was better, deeper, or shallower, and it stayed constant all the way down to the deepest they could go. So that well is just, well, our Site 3, which is up here off Pioneertown Road, is influencing that well. So like I said, we'll keep that, you know, keep a good eye on that with that analyzer, so we won't try to keep our recharge where we need it on that one. And the TDS remained constant with no significant increases. And the precipitation last year was pretty good. It was 11 inches we had, and the average is 6.77 inches, so it's like 163% of the rainfall average. And that I will answer any questions you guys have on anything else.
That was nicely done, thank you.
So the golf course is being consistent and efficient with their use of water?
They're down a lot. I want to say when they first started seeding, you know, 3 years ago, I think it was, they started going again, they were close to they're almost 500 acre feet back then, and last year they were down, you know, a little over 300, and this year below that even, so they're definitely conserving more and just keeping it way below their allotment, so.
Well, they had completely replanted and redid the course, and so now it's getting a little more established, and we had a wetter than normal year.
That helps too, yes.
And Joshua Basin, Joshua Tree Retreat Center, and how are you doing with your, I'll put it on record as far as your work with the wells. Go ahead. That's good. But you're also in the process of having to replace.
Yeah, we have to do something. Our first step
Yeah, I
Director
had a
Steedman.
question about storage. If recharge site 3 appears to be close to full and is having some nitrate issues that will get resolved, it sounds like, what are we doing to identify additional storage? Or are we viewing additional storage as having a need for that?
We always gonna have a need for that, and I think, working with Mojave, I've talked to them, they have a couple sites that they're trying to recharge, and we're thinking about maybe buying in with that, but, as of now, there's nothing really in black and white yet, but, Mojave's always looking for different sites to recharge, and we have a list of, we have 3, 6, and 7 now, and we looked at the, other sites that were identified, and they're not in anything that we could actually use, so. And I believe Site 7, which is on the east end of town, we may be able to drill another well over there. Because right now, we only have one well that produces out of that site. So if we drilled another well over there, which you may see soon, that might help so we can start storing some more water. Because that's a good area because all the nitrates over there have been flushed out. So we don't have any issues over there anymore. So we're hoping that we can get another well over there and we can start recharging more on that side of town.
And then are we doing a little bit of recharge up on Ames Reachy?
We did look at that. Mojave is putting in like 1 acre foot a day. No, less than that. They can, yeah, it's like an acre foot a day. They can only do like an acre foot a day without overflowing their little ponds they had built there. So, because we had talked about at one point is buying more water and putting it up there, but we can't take it without maybe building a full-on site. So I talked to Mr. McCarthy, and he's gonna talk to his engineers about maybe getting together and maybe building a site up there so we can actually take more water up there.
The only issue with putting water up there, though, we only get 95% back. So I think really, long-term, the key would be to store it over on Mojave side. And Tom McCarthy did say that they're starting to look at that internally, but it's probably a year or two away. So when there's a wet winter, we could buy additional water and store it over at Mojave side, if we can't put it here. Or,
It's not a pressing issue for us, it's just kind of long-term.
and there's the possibility of our neighbors to the east. However, sometimes when we start working there, people assume it's going to be a consolidation of water districts, so politically, that may not be the best thing.
And how about the Old Woman Springs? Is there any update on that?
No update from the last meeting. The ball was in their court, and we're just waiting for them.
Any other questions from directors?
So I just had one more thing, if you don't mind. So on page 24, I believe, you can see some of the second to the last column. It talks about total water level increase since 1995, and we've come up 308.
You got the wrong page number
I'm
for
sorry.
me.
24 on this?
No.
Oh, sorry. You had the
24.
We've got two numbers.
Yeah, it's totally.
There it is. It's on page 44.
44?
44 is darker.
There it is. Sorry about that. So you can see, I mean, we've done well with our recharge efforts, and like I said, if we can get Site 3 where we can start taking more water without spiking the nitrates, that's gonna be our goal. But, so for this year, we're trying to recharge exactly what we're taking out of the ground, and, but it's pretty positive on there how much water we've increased in our aquifer.
I just have one recommendation for this report.
Okay.
Enlarge it.
Yeah, it used to be on, I'm sorry, we used to print it on these ones on the 11 by 17s.
Yes,
So next time,
and sideways.
yeah, and they fold it out bigger, yeah, so we'll do that next time.
So,
Go ahead.
One
Director Stone.
additional question. We've put in that larger water main from the west end to the east end. Is that operational yet?
We are probably 900 feet from being complete. We're down in the wash in Palomar, heading toward the Palomar tank, so we should be looking at that being done this week, we're hoping. Probably more likely next week, and then after that, we have to start loading it and chlorinate, or getting it flushed out and all that, so hopefully within a month, we'll be able to start using it.
And then that would allow us to take more water out of the west end here and move
It
it
just-
over to the east end?
It helps move water, yeah, over there, but we
Then
still can do it now.
free
but
up recharge capacity.
Yes and no. We can do that now, but it's not very efficient. So we have Lower Fox Tank, which is up here on Fox, and then Palomar. They're gravity fed together, so the wells all feed those both tanks. And what happens, we see Lower Fox fill up faster. So we suffer it at Palomar. The water levels drop over there because we're pumping, that feeds all of Sky Harbor, Story Park, and then up here, Palomar was the that's the main tank for the old High Desert Water District. And then Lower Fox is twice as big, but in order to move water easier over to the west end, that's what that's all about.
Right.
So, yeah,
Easier to the east end.
To the east, I'm sorry, yes. Trying to keep those tanks.
All right, right. So, will we be able then to use a little more recharge capacity at some point here at Recharge Site 3?
I believe we can. It's kind of a weird thing because we have 2 or 3 wells right in that area, 4 wells that have no nitrate problems. But the well that's just east of that is the one having the nitrate problem. So hopefully, if we can get that in check, we'll be all right to start pumping more water in there. Yeah.
Can you blend?
If we can, but it's too far away. It'd be
Hmm.
quite a bit of pipe to get it over to the blend facility. The well is actually over by Little League, the ballpark.
Hmm.
It's right behind there, so you'd have to go across Sage, down the wash across Sage to get to our blend facility, because there's no place to build another one there on that side. It's too small, so.
And you can't blend in a tank?
We'd have to have a dedicated line from that well to the tank.
Okay.
Would there be any benefit to connect 3, 6, and 7 together? If you do the tanks, that helps spread it out. Would 3, 6, and 7, you could move it a little bit better in one way or the other if you have a problem?
Oh, you mean, I don't know. I guess we could pump it out of one well back into another recharge site, but I don't think we don't wanna do that, it'd be expensive.
Okay. Anything?
We don't want to put good potable water into recharge.
Okay. Anything else on this? I'll entertain a motion to accept this report.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
It's been moved by Vice President Huff and seconded by Director Statham. Roll call, please.
Vice President Huff,
Yes.
Director Statham,
Yes?
President Mays.
Yes. I commend the Glenn Ware and the staff. They did an awesome job on it. Thank you, thank them, please. We're going to skip number 5, so we go to Director's Reports. Is there anything, Director Statham?
I have nothing.
Vice President Huff? Okay, Manager's Report. Good job.
It is very nice.
Very, very good job. Anyone else? Debbie, do you have any comments? No comments? Jim, do you have any comments?
Thank you for coming and sharing.
Tony, do you have any comments? No, thank you. All right. Cody, do you have anything? All right.
Bob out
Let's,
there, do you have anything?
we want to have an inclusive team here. Okay, if there's no other comments, how about upcoming agenda items? Seeing none? It's on the other side. Upcoming agenda items. Let's go to adjournment at 4:57. We're out before 5 o'clock. Thank you for coming, everybody.